More than a decade ago, just like the proverb, strike while the iron is hot, many people began publishing old classics on Amazon KDP that are in the public domain available freely on the internet. This way, money started flowing into their accounts with little efforts. But the side effect to this was that many low standard ebooks started flocking and piling up on the Kindle ebooks ecosystem. For example, you would be knowing this book, Pride and Prejudice, which has more than 100 editions and versions with mostly all same content and no much difference. But there is no value addition in having same content in different versions, do we? With the passage of time, we might even reach 1000 versions and more. That's when Amazon took note of it, got annoyed, and put some policies and guidelines in place, which is what we are seeing right now on the screen. Amazon clarifies that their program allows the selling of content that is in the public domain, but they also want a proof that the book is indeed in the public domain. At the same time, they also clearly specify that the book that we are trying to republish must have undergone some improvements in the form of either translation, annotation, or add original illustrations pertaining to the book. Not having understood this information, we still have some people who happily try to publish public domain content without adding any further value or enhancing its related information. This could lead to the book getting banned, and if continued, their KDP account can get blocked too. That's why it becomes all the more important to first learn how to choose a public domain book that has some room for improvement while also remain profitable. So how do we choose which public domain book to republish? That is, if you really want to add value to it. So let's first see what Amazon KDP team has to say about this. We need to provide proof that the book is indeed in the public domain, and also provide the names of its authors or translators. This is first and foremost. You might have already observed this when trying to publish a public domain book. An email arrives as soon as the book gets into the review phase in the publication efforts. At the same time, we must ensure the book has improved in its value by adding a translation or annotation or illustrations to the book. This is what is being referred to as differentiation, as you can see here on the screen. Just one or more of those requirements. If you can get more than one, then all the more good chances of getting approved. If you observe, there's no much guidance on what needs to be done except for these important distinctions. However, there is a good number of items that clearly shows what doesn't count as being differentiated. These are okay to do, but doesn't win you the approval of the book from the KDP review team if you do. When it comes to translation, it's straightforward. Just pick a language that you are fluent in, translate it to another language that you are confident in writing. Typically, English is pretty common, so if you find any book that are in your native language, you can translate that to English, or vice versa. Find a book that's in English and translate it into your native language. Next, with annotation, here are some ideas that can be categorized into annotating a book. You could add a section with glossaries, guides, explanations, significance of the ancient texts and their impacts on the society, etc. Then with illustrations, we need to add a minimum of 10. The more, the better. That's why it's best to know which book you're dealing with, thus making it inevitable to review that public domain book at least once to understand it better. Overall, to summarize, adding extra content is compulsory. Imagine you're the buyer of that public domain book. What would you expect when you pay for it, instead of just freely downloading it from Gutenberg or any public domain websites? Start from there. Alright, let's now see how to research on how to choose a public domain book. You might be already aware of this website called FeedBooks. Once you are there, click on the public domain tab to see a huge list of books that are in the public domain. But how do we decide on which one to choose from this huge list? Some books might be famous, while some could have been in the oblivion for long, without many noticing its existence. The difference between both the numbers could be vast. So how do we know which book gets downloaded or searched by the masses? Well, it's quite obvious. Click on this popular books section. As we can see here, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is at the top in the search results for popular books. We can easily pick this up and publish. But there is an obvious risk here that many will do this same step, thus there is more competition for this particular book. Now it makes sense that then we can choose another book from the top 10 or top 20 or even top 100 in this list. Let's say I have chosen the Secret Adversary book. I also see a download button here. This is exactly when many commit the mistake of directly downloading from here and uploading it onto Amazon KDP. No wonder the books don't get published and they end up getting their account suspended. The problem here is that although it's mentioned the book is in public domain, you can also see that a clear note is given inside this book that says, this book is strictly for personal use and not to use this file for commercial purposes. I'm not saying this is the only reason that triggers the account suspension, because there are some who get past this level of scrutiny as well, and I'm also pretty sure that it's not difficult for Amazon to crack those publishers someday. If not now, the account will get eventually suspended if this practice is followed blindly, because there is a clear case of explicit text that disallows the commercial use of these books from feedbooks. That being said, the positive side of this development is that at least we got to know that this book is one of the topmost searched book by real people around the world. There's also another information that's gold here. Just observe their source section, which clearly mentions that this book was actually sourced from Gutenberg itself. So let's now head to Gutenberg website and search for this book in their database. Once we find it, click on the Bibliographic Record tab, where we can validate two things. One, the copyright status that the book is indeed in the public domain, because this is helpful when KDP review team asks us proof, where we can send this hyperlink. And two, the number of downloads in the last 1 month. This translates into more than 100 books per day. Now that we have validated that this book is a good choice, we also need to check the competition on Amazon itself to ensure we add unique sections to our version of this book in order to encourage people to buy this version. Additionally, you can also click on the author's name or the category names here on Feedbook's website to find more works from the same author. This is a useful information because it helps you guide your readers to pick their next book. Since they have read this one, hopefully the complete book, chances are more that they may want to read more from this same author. Just make their job easier by adding a note at the end of your book like this one, while linking to another similar book from the same author, which you can create as well. All the links given in this video are provided in the video description below. Just click on show more to get them. Alright, now that we have seen how to pick a public domain book to republish, there is also a risk of picking something that has a tight competition, as I mentioned earlier. The Kindle review team could reject our work, citing this as a reason. So in my next video, we will see how to find how many books are published, how many downloads are done for a specific book on Amazon, and how to decide if we want to proceed with the publishing or not. I'll see you again in my next video. Until then, you take care. Thank you.